the girl behind all the man-slapping. It's not even about karate anymore. Bad agents are everywhere, kids. The bromance continues. Pull the arm. And also making sure his students don't turn into douchebags. The Crane. Well, what a surprise Cobra Kai is. One of the best series reboots of a campy 80s movie franchise. Proving old rivalries never die. They just get sexier and dorkier. Hi Movie Maniacs, I'm Dunmore, and I'm just going to be covering Cobra Kai Season 1, released in 2018. The original 1984 Karate Kid was just Rocky with an Italian ferret, both movies directed by John G. Avildsen. In that movie, Daniel LaRusso, Ralph Macchio, was the new kid in high school, taking regular beatings from school bullies led by Johnny Lawrence, William Zabka, who trained in karate at the violent Cobra Kai dojo, led by sadist Sensei Kreese, Martin Kove. In self-defense, Daniel took up karate under an unlikely sensei, his gentle handyman, Mr. Miyagi, Noriyuki Pat Morita. Keeping all the testosterone raging, glorious Elizabeth Shue was Ali with an eye, the girl behind all the man-slapping. Most of these characters reprised their roles in Cobra Kai Season 1. The two not returning, Pat Morita, sadly because he's dead, and Elizabeth Shue, sadly because she's hot. Cobra Kai opens with the finale of The Karate Kid, re-edited like a modern Rocky movie. The deciding fight in the All-Valley Karate Championship between faltering Johnny and injured Daniel, with Kreese ordering Johnny to perform the most lethal move in karate.
Sweep the leg.
Johnny hesitates. From that hesitation, this series was constructed like a monument to character development, fan service, and urgent screenwriting. I'm out in Encino, where I live, which is about 5 miles south of Reseda, where The Karate Kid was set. Here on the side wall of Floyd's Barbershop, on the corner of Ventura and Texoma, immortalized in the very living rock, the most lethal move in karate. If you were a fan of the Karate Kid movies in the 80s, or even if you thought the movies were saccharine, cliched, formulaic trash, Cobra Kai is a revelation of empathetic screenwriting, injecting heart and layers into what were originally one-dimensional tropes, pulling an outstanding performance from the leading man, William Zabka, who startles us with his introspection, subtle humor, and hero's journey. In the 10 half-hour episodes of Season 1, led by showrunners John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg, and Josh Heald, Cobra Kai reveals itself as a magnificent study of a man with a fatherless childhood, Johnny Zabka, then 19, now 53, looking 45, caught in a surrogate father's indoctrination, and coming to realize that indoctrination was more damaging than constructive. It's no coincidence this series is titled Cobra Kai. It's about the leg sweeper, not the leg sweepee. And though Macchio was the ostensible star of the 80s movies, his face still lacks the ability to go to expression number 3. So his Daniel here is just a device to drive Johnny's motivations. Both Macchio and Zabka are executive producers, but Macchio is well aware he can't hold up this series as the leading man, though he's smart enough to know Zabka can. The first episode is all Johnny, as we catch up with his piss-poor existence. He's a handyman, trapped in the past, taste-wise, socially, psychologically. He drives a decades-old Firebird, loves 80s rock and that shitty Iron Eagle movie. He's still good-looking, aged like Sean Connery or Clint Eastwood. And he has no filter, which is what this world needs right now, actually. Someone to tell youngsters to shut up and get real, instead of whining about microaggressions. He's a Luddite and a sexist, which makes for some funny fish out of water moments with his PC and his PC. And he has a penchant for passing out on the floor of his almost furnished apartment amongst pizza and beer. I'm in Tarzana, just south of Reseda, in front of Johnny Lawrence's luxury apartments. You know, a lot of Cobra Kai is actually shot in Georgia, including Daniel's mansion, his car dealership, and the high school, and even the front piece, the facade of Cobra Kai, is in Georgia, even though it looks like a skanky strip mall in Reseda. And sorry, Reseda, I'm not parroting general consensus. I actually used to live in Reseda about a decade ago, so first-hand experience of skanky strip malls. It haunts Johnny that he lost to Daniel in that 1984 karate championship. His arc to acceptance in that movie is ignored here, so a PTSD cloud can hang over him. In his recounting, everything from the 80s is unforgiven. Contrast that to the idyllic life of his karate rival. Episode 2 opens with Daniel LaRusso, Macchio, then 23, now 57, looking 28. He's the same old dork, but with a successful car dealership, a mansion, and 2 kids, the young boy just a prop, while his daughter is part of Daniel's journey, Mary Mouser as Samantha. And a beautiful, in-shape wife, of course. He's rich. Courtney Henggeler as Amanda, who is also the pragmatic voice of the series. Beauty and brains. And I love the way her shirts stretch across the... Since his golden days, Daniel is now using karate not honorably or for edification, but as a cheap gimmick to sell cars, on the weak premise that he was once the All-Valley champ. The community takes his ads with an ounce of cheese, and many just outright laugh at him, like his snarky auto dealer competitor. In other words, Johnny is haunted by his loss. Daniel is haunted by his win. As Daniel's wife chides them both at some point while wearing something tight, all this bad blood is from a 34-year-old karate beef. Both of them need to find a way past their past. Johnny meets the current high school punching bag, Miguel, Xolo Maridueña, basically Taylor Lautner without muscles, in a scene echoing the Karate Kid. As Daniel went looking for maintenance, meeting his sensei, Miguel asks Johnny about maintenance, meeting his sensei. Johnny inadvertently saves Miguel in an adrenalized scene where he takes on 4 bullies and comes to 2 discoveries. One, that even though he's got the muscle memory for high kicks, it hurts his groin after all this downtime. A great little detail. And 2, that there's a path to redemption in training young Miguel not to become Ralph Macchio. Johnny reopens the Cobra Kai dojo, not least to raise himself from rock bottom, and preaches power and ruthlessness to Miguel and all Miguel's schoolmates who join up after they see Miguel beat the bullies with his newfound skills. But Johnny gradually realizes that the extremism of the dojo's old slogan, strike first, strike hard, no mercy, should be tempered with a whole range of other attributes to truly become a fully rounded middle-aged sex symbol. As Zabka tells us in interviews, Johnny is basically given a full 5-hour movie chopped into 10 parts to draw us into his worldview sympathetically. Proven by Zabka's every nuanced move. Who would have thunk the pretty boy Lunkhead was such an exemplary actor? Zabka is a revelation. He does such a magnificent job here, I'm surprised he didn't carve more of a leading man movie career with those blonde locks and in-shape frame. Bad agents are everywhere, kids. In the riotous hot tub time machine in 2010, Zabka would play a high roller jerk with a trophy wife, Diora Baird. And here, Baird would play Johnny's ex-wife, still trophy hot. Living in the same San Fernando Valley, after many years out of touch with each other, Johnny's and Daniel's paths intertwine in the most intriguing and amusing conundrums. When Daniel sees his old rival reopening Cobra Kai, thinking Johnny will spawn a quiver of bullies, Daniel opens his own karate school called Miyagi-Do, which takes him on his own arc to rediscover the real reasons behind karate: balance. His first student is Johnny's estranged son from his broken marriage with the hot tub time machine chick, Robbie, Tanner Buchanan, who looks like a dreamboat cross between Jeff Fahey and a Chippendales dancer. Although Robbie, rudderless and sunk into a life of petty crime, doesn't tell Daniel he's Johnny's son. He's only joining Daniel's dojo as a middle finger to his dad. Like Mark Wahlberg in The Other Guys learning ballet sarcastically, just to show the other guys how queer they were. But he never gets to actually tell his dad he's with Daniel. His dad would find out in a most damaging way. Let's put a pin in that. It's all gonna come round in a minute. There are many flashbacks to glory days, adding weight to the series, drawing on the 3 films Macchio made with Marita, who died in 2005. Zabka would only appear in the first 2. And the showrunners completely ignore Marita's The Next Karate Kid in 1994. Zabka is doing all his own stunts. Both he and Macchio are in good shape still, although Ralph can't do a roundhouse kick without bending his knee, while Johnny's kicks are legit. He actually did attain a green belt outside of the movies. And the karate from the kids, believable. They're doing a lot of their own high kicks and spock chops, but they're kids, so they don't have to be as good as Tony Jaa or Donnie Yen. Still, I'm not buying the way these beginners stick to their disciplines when a karate fight breaks out. By that I mean, no one ever resorts to parking lot flailing, which you would in real life. You're not gonna stick to these moves you just learned if you're getting your ass kicked. The original Karate Kid was purely for teens, with its young heroes, basic plot, and exaggerated acting, while Cobra Kai is based a little more in adult space while still appealing to that teeny demo, loaded with cutie pies on all sides: Joe Seo, Hannah Kepple, Annalisa Cochrane, a special mention to Jacob Bertrand, who convinces us he transforms from a wimp to a pimp. And of course, Mouser, Maridueña, and Buchanan, with more than enough puppy love triangle to fuel 10 slumber parties, with the screenwriting artfully shifting our sympathies between dorks who turn into killers and bad boys who turn into heartthrobs. And these kids probably realize they have this legacy to return to decades hence, because Cobra Kai never dies. And Xolo can rightfully claim that the series is held up by his excellent performance, definitely carrying most of the kids on his narrow non-Twilight shoulders. Behind Johnny, this is Miguel's story. In the original movie, Johnny's car gave him status over Daniel. And here, in an ironic twist, Daniel owns a car dealership, while Johnny is driving an old battered Pontiac Firebird, not only lower in status than Daniel's brand new Audis, but also a sign of how stuck in the past he is. Ultimately, the car would draw Johnny inadvertently to Daniel, as Daniel's daughter Samantha crashes into it, leaving it up to Daniel to fix the mess.
We know someone with a car dealership who can help.
You want me to give this son of a bitch a car?
Daniel tries to coax Johnny toward an age-appropriate vehicle, but Johnny sets his sights on another muscle car, a Dodge Challenger. When they test drive the car, turn on the stereo, they both start bobbing their heads to REO Speedwagon. All their bonding moments are so funny because they are so resistant to it. But we can smell the bro-tosterone a mile away. They make a pit stop at Daniel's old apartment. Just fan service, really. Then they go have a drink to continue the bonding, not bonding. In the heart of Reseda, on Satakoy Street, here's Daniel's apartment, South Seas, looking almost like it did in 1984. Now, I'm showing you all these locations because I happen to live right near them. Don't expect me to show you all the European locations in No Time to Die. For that, I'll need a hell of a lot more Patreons. The bromance continues as Johnny opens up about his bullying stepdad, played by a cantankerous Ed Asner, who drove him to Cobra Kai and Kreese.
The guy was more than a sensei to me. He was basically a father.
And Daniel reveals what we all know.
Mr. Miyagi was like a father to me. It's crazy, man. Both finding karate role models.
They're about to kiss, but they're men! So the only way they can touch each other is to fight. So they agree to do the ending of Rocky 3 to see who will be the bottom. But when they walk into Daniel's dojo and Johnny's son Robbie is there, it's Hitler invading Poland all over again. Daniel taking something from Johnny that was once his again. Whether Daniel knew Robbie was Johnny's son or not, the rage Johnny feels, probably at himself, is because Daniel could make a safe space for Robbie that he couldn't. Again regret, again loss, again no man touching. Any wonder he is so guarded. Any wonder he wants to retreat to those golden days when he was king of 1985. In 2007, William Zabka would spoof his own Johnny Lawrence when he writes and directs the music video to a song called Sweep the Leg by Los Angeles band No More Kings, who got their name from an episode of Schoolhouse Rock. Long before Cobra Kai got the band back together, this production would reunite Johnny and his posse with Martin Kove and Ralph Macchio in a hilarious tragedy of a man stuck in his past. By the time the finale rolls around in episode 10, of course, at the All Valley Karate Tournament, it's not even about karate anymore. Johnny is more concerned about reconciling with his son, who is on the other team, and also making sure his students don't turn into douchebags, for which he is responsible by feeding them extremist philosophies. He's looking for balance, and it's just out of his reach. And up here in Northridge, north of Reseda, there's Redwood Hall, the Metadome, where they held the All Valley Karate Tournament. It's nestled on the grounds of CSUN, where I actually did some vocal training with one of the speech professors. See, I'm right amongst the Karate Kid legacy. Johnny Lawrence has his own Johnny Lawrence in the form of Miguel, who by this stage has turned into a Cobra Kai bully, while Robbie, clad in white, represents everything Cobra Kai is not. As Daniel employed the infamous crane in Karate Kid, here, to annoy Daniel, Johnny instructs Miguel's very first move to be the crane, in one kick, laying out his first opponent. When Miguel meets Robbie in the final, Johnny orders Miguel to do exactly the opposite of what Kreese ordered him to do decades ago. Fight fair.
Look, I know we want to win, but it's got to be the right way. We don't have to fight dirty.
Dirty? There's nothing dirty about winning, Sensei. You taught me that.
Instead, Miguel pulls on Robbie's already injured arm, echoing the Karate Kid. By the way, Robbie's arm got injured by Hawk. Again, World Wrestling Federation rules when it suits the plot. And why is Robbie allowed to fight with an injured arm? Who are the safety organizers on these gigs anyway? Also, pull the arm. The most lethal move in karate. No, not as cool as sweep the leg. Okay. And Robbie is not fighting to win the trophy, but against his father's ethos. And we can see the warring emotions on Johnny's face. He wants his son to win, yet he doesn't want his Cobra Kai team to lose. Fate kicks Johnny in the face again, as his surrogate son Miguel beats his real son Robbie to win the trophy. However, by then, this thing that Johnny thought was his sacred goal, what he thought would be his affirmation of life itself, by the time he wins it, he is so distraught over his son that he realizes it means nothing, that it always meant nothing. Which means, though it's a loss, it's a win. It means Johnny has come out the other side. He's grown to realize what it takes to find balance, but he is thwarted from achieving it. And we've grown to realize that Johnny was not the villain of the Karate Kid films. By the end of this series, we've grown to love Johnny so much, the filmmakers needed another villain. the real villain standing behind Johnny Lawrence. Enter Sensei Kreese. It's easy to see why Cobra Kai is so beloved, with its empathetic writing, performances, and production. But why are the Karate Kid films being viewed in retrospect as anything more than trashy B-movies? There are even rumors of Daniel being the actual bully in Karate Kid, that there were deeper levels. No! It was just the basic story of boy meets bully's girl, boy gets bitch slapped by bully, boy gets bully's girl. Those films being bad or good is irrelevant. They were bad. We anchor our emotions to the era they were released, when we were the young audience, with a different set of dreams and aspirations. They take us back. And now, we love Cobra Kai because after living our lives of regret and loss, we see in Johnny's redemption some 1,000,000-to-1 chance that we can also be redeemed in our autumn years. We are all Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yeah! Because Cobra Kai never dies. Yeah! In Season 2, it's Kreese's world. We just die in it. In Season 3, the cause of all the man-slapping returns. Ali! You've binged them all by now, movie maniacs, so you know how stellar the Cobra Kai series remains. Now, I've got to catch up on some new releases and some old classics, so I'm not going to dive directly into Season 2 or Season 3 immediately, but let me know that you want it via your likes, your comments, your Patreon donations, thank you, or your PayPal and Venmo support. The more you become a part of Dunmore's Movie Mania, the quicker I can sweep the